Where exactly is this show gonna go? Hey, what's up, Nerd fam? This is your boy Gershon. I want to welcome you to Enter the Nerd. Today, we talk about the first episode of Loki. Now, for some people, this might have been anticipated. For me, I'm always interested in watching anything comic book related, superhero related, nerd, geek, whatever. I'm there, right? I'm there. I wanted to watch this just because. However, I did have some trepidation going into this because I have very mixed opinions about WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. They all had a very good trajectory and then went somewhere else completely towards the latter end. This seems to be something very, very common with a lot of this MCU stuff, specifically going into phase 4. It's like they don't really know where they're trying to go, or they like to build up expectations and then subvert them in a way that doesn't really make much sense to what story they're trying to tell. But I'm trying to kind of decipher where I think they're going to go based on this first episode, and I could be wrong. I was wrong in the other two because they decided to, go, right instead of left, or whatever direction we want to use. But in here, we see they've introduced the Time Variance Authority, which is actually something that does originate in Thor. So, cool. They actually did take something from Thor source material. They kept something, because if it's one thing that anything about the Asgardians when it came to the MCU that always bugged me was always how much they left out, how much they changed. One of the things about Loki, especially it's very evident in the show, is how powerful he is. Like, he's actually in the comics beat Thor in hand-to-hand combat. He's done it before. He's also one of the best sorcerers in the universe as well. But you don't get any of that here. He's just, mischievous, and just is semi-intelligent and kind of a pompous ass, right? Versus Loki actually being of genius level intellect and being a real threat to tons of people, giving him real gravity there. And of course, I kind of knew they were going to go the whole sympathetic route, instead of just making him being plain despicable, which is something that Disney does way too often when it comes to characters that are supposed to be villains. But it is what it is. So as of right now, we know this takes place right after Endgame, when he takes the Tesseract and he takes himself to another time and he gets met by the TVA. Cool, they're there. So I kept thinking, like, from what I know about the TVA, where could they be going? So the Time Variance Authority also has to do, well, some members of it. So for example, Mobius, that's played by Owen Wilson, he directly comes in contact with Fantastic Four. The Time Variance Authority also, or the TVA, I would just say the TVA, they also create those 3 time beings. They actually create them. They're not created by them. That's something that they did in the show. So I see they're playing around with that a little bit. And they're actually, some of them are clones. Some of them are actually clones, even though you don't see that here. You see all of them, they're pretty much all individual, and it's like a job, almost like they work in the DMV somewhere. It was very, very strange. But whatever, that's their interpretation of it, right? Ravonna Renslayer, that's the person who you see Loki meet. That she's sitting up there, she's almost like in like a judging position. She's actually related to like Kang the Conqueror in terms of like she's like a daughter of some king in the 40th century, which is interesting. So you see that's gonna happen. Also, this could happen as well. The TVA also wind up going with the law firm. They interact with the law firm from She-Hulk, or She-Hulk's law firm, pardon me. So she could either appear in this show, because they're traveling without, or they could appear in her own show, which is coming. So I see what they're trying to do. So we got Fantastic Four, Kang the Conqueror, who's actually obviously related to Fantastic Four, but also the next Ant-Man movie. Because also TVA, they also use the quantum particles. So they are related to quite a few things. It's actually pretty cool. One thing that I saw that was kind of weird, for me when it comes to continuity, is when she like slapped him with the rod, and then it's like, once again, power scaling. He can fight Thor. Remember, in the same universe, he got slammed by a Hulk. Are we saying that generated the same amount of force to incapacitate him in that way? Especially because he's of magic. Because remember, they weren't in the TVA at that time. They weren't actually in their headquarters when she hit him with that. So he should actually be pretty powerful. Whatever, though. That's just me wanting things to be consistent. Silly me. Right? So it's weird. I know they're hunting another Loki, stop him from killing all the other agents, which is weird. And I just don't know what is this show gonna accomplish besides maybe linking those things. Because if that's what it's gonna do, and it's gonna serve as a linking purpose for other properties to make the other events make sense later on, I'm cool with that. Or is it just a vehicle so we can see how cool Tom Hiddleston is? I like him as an actor, and I also like Owen Wilson, and their banter together is obviously going to be a highlight of the show. But this is going to be a thing where I keep thinking that this is going to really bring out some really cool stuff, like with WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and they just do a third of what I'm expecting. Or, did the people who made this show even pay attention to any of the source material and are just using these things by name, which is something that they did with some of the other stuff, like with WandaVision, the creator not knowing who Mephisto is, and even with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, them just killing off certain people and them making other characters that they actually aren't, stuff like that. So it worries me because it seems to be kind of a theme. But we don't know. There's only episode 1. And I'm going to watch it because I just want to see where it's going. Am I really enthused about it? No. If you are, that's cool. Let's talk about it in the comments. Let me know what you thought about the first episode. Let me know what you're coming to expect. I'm pretty much going off of what I know about these characters, not just in the comics, but even when I'm watching the show, it didn't really super interest me, but maybe that'll change in the next few episodes. Let's see. I am just hoping that they tie this to some of the things that I know that the Time Variance Authority is actually tied to. Maybe, I'm hoping that's why they decided to include them in this. So let's talk about it right in the comics. Read up on some stuff, buy some more comics, and make sure you enter the nerd.